Come, let us review forceful practice instructions and then meditate like a Jedi. Let us review A Tale of Two Jedi that we might better understand Sturgeon's Law, which states that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. Whereas Qui-Gon Jinn was flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Mace Windu was a trifle more rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Sadly, there are more meditation teachers like Mace Windu than there are like Qui-Gon Jinn. When we follow the advice of the rigid and the controlling, we tend to actively focus and actively analyze, which can exhaust our dorsolateral and medial prefrontal cortex, causing us to present with symptoms of depression and no less trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. Fortunately, when we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, our amygdala is calmed, and the seat of empathy, our anterior cingulate gyrus, is gently stimulated. All we have to do to become the people our pets already think we are is to break the habit of actively competing against our own autonomic nervous system and instead passively cooperate with it. How do we do that? The answer is in two parts. Part one. The seventh fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is mindfulness. Every time we inhale, we are already wired by evolution to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, known as the sympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to help us notice in a very special way. It has evolved to help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly mind's antics, such as perception, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings, including the external and the internal, the physical and the mental, the pleasurable and the painful, the interesting and the boring, the glorious and the grotesque. Well, that's how it works. How do we cooperate with it? All we got to do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel our chest swell with breath. And now for part two. Meditation is the eighth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Every time we exhale, we are already wired to effortlessly and automatically access the basement and the tippy top of that same spinal cord. These two extremes systems. Together are known as our parasympathetic nervous system. They have evolved, or it has evolved, to help us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Any good English teacher could remind us that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. Therefore, we must ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morning, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand? And so we see that whether we are talking about emptiness or not self, also known as no self, both are merely figures of speech to describe the fleeting yet dramatic phenomena latent within each exhalation. The key to cooperating with this process is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb rest each time we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale. Having completed our opening lesson, let us take a moment to shift gears. It is Rey Skywalker Sunday mid-afternoon. At least it is here in Southern California. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after about 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School for more than 30 years. I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to Nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers, just like you. Oh, look at that. Things are askew. There we go. When we sit in meditation, it can sometimes threaten our sense of control. And it can feel like that when we open our eyes, a decade could have passed, as if we were some contemplative Rip Van Winkle. A easy solution for that, a end run, if you will, is for us to play with a variation of Bengali crease counting. How does that work? We'll use the knuckles of our right hand to count various collections of 16 sets of 16 inhalations. That's pretty cryptic. Well, that's an overview. Let us begin together by touching the tip of our left thumb to the lower set of creases on our left little finger. This is how we'll keep track of our first set of 16 inhalations. In the meantime, or the interim, let's rest our hand palms up in our lap. Consider so every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, let's advance the tip of our right thumb across the creases and tips of its 4 fingers, beginning with the little finger. Let's practice together right now. Clearly, I've run out of places to place my thumb upon my right hand, which means it's time to advance my thumb on the left hand. And that's how we will keep track of 16 sets of 16 inhalations each. 16 inhalations takes a little bit more than a minute. 16 sets of 16 inhalations takes a little bit more than 20 minutes. Most people would like to build up to the point where they could comfortably practice for perhaps more than 20 minutes. And so to keep track of our collections, our 20-minute collections of 16 sets of 16 inhalations, we could play with the knuckles of our right middle finger. Let's begin with the big knuckle at the bottom. We could rest it upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap, and thus gather our first collection of 16 sets of 16 inhalations. After a little more than 20 minutes, we could slide the tip of our right middle finger until its middle knuckle rests upon our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. After a little bit more than 40 minutes have elapsed in total, we could once again adjust our right middle finger until its smaller knuckle, its third knuckle, comes to rest once again upon our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. And thus we could gather our third collection of 16 sets of 16 inhalations. Now, allow me to remind you that the antidote to feeling overwhelmed is repetition. Join me for meditation every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two, this system you could master. Every 15 minutes or so, you are welcome to gently adjust your legs. Good afternoon. Welcome to the live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's 4th session of Meditating Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.